Call Jonathan Young.
I'd like to just draw perhaps a backdrop behind this bill of events that happened, as we will remember, some time ago, particularly in the United Kingdom, where the outbreak of BSE, what's called mad cow disease, created such a furore amongst the industry there, where 180,000 cattle were infected and 4.4 million head of cattle were slaughtered during the eradication program. Something which I think is a horrific thought to farmers and agriculturalists here in New Zealand. And so the National Animal Identification and Tracing Bill will enable the establishment of this tracing system that will control and prevent animal disease and product contamination. And so this is an investment of current and modern technology that's going to protect an industry which is contributing to over half of our annual export volume to the rest of the world. Now, the global consumption of meat since 1961, and this is one of the major areas that this will touch on, has tripled since that period of time, since 1961, and it does continue to increase rapidly. It's fueled by rising living standards in nations such as India and China, and as consumer incomes rise, there's a tendency to buy more protein. We understand that. We know that is why our export and our commodities in this country have seen such a tremendous lift in recent years. Indeed, people who live in developed countries consume 4 times as much meat as those in developing countries. You'd be interested to know, since 1961, average consumption has risen from 56 kilograms to 89 kilograms per person per year in India, and from 89 to 124 kilograms per person in the US, according to the Food and Agricultural Organization. In 1961, the Chinese consumed only 4 kilograms of meat per person per year, but that figure has reached over 55 kilograms and is still rising. So what we see an international demand driving growth in this particular area and this particular industry. And so it is incredibly important that management around disease prevention is hugely enhanced. We understand that nations that New Zealand compete with are progressing in these particular areas, and current animal tracing schemes here in New Zealand are falling behind the systems used by our trading partners. Mr. Speaker, we live in a time of global opportunity in this particular area, and it bodes well for us that we provide adequate information for responding to biosecurity risks and incursions, so we don't place our market access at risk. The Food and Agricultural Organization report that import bans on meat produced in disease-afflicted countries in early 2004, for example, affected approximately a third of global meat exports, or 6 million tonnes. And so this is the sort of thing that happens when disease or diseases can affect animals. From 2002 to 2006, alternating disease outbreaks and recoveries resulted in rapid shortages and increases in exportable meat supplies, leading to considerable fluctuations in international prices. So, Mr. Speaker, NATE is a very reliable, up-to-date information system on individual animal locations and movements. It is going to enable New Zealand to respond quickly in the event of a biosecurity threat, such as a disease outbreak or food safety threat, such as residues being found in animal-derived food products. And such a quick response will help limit the spread and reduce the economic impact of such an event. This is incredibly important in order to protect not just the economic well-being but the social well-being of our country. And so these things, Mr. Speaker, are incredibly important. National wants to grow the economy in order to deliver greater prosperity and security and opportunity to all New Zealanders. We want to deliver and are longer-lasting solutions for our biosecurity and primary sector to boost productivity and to protect those exports. We are very proud of the history of supporting our primary sector and our rural communities. Mr. Speaker, the NATE system would enable rapid and accurate tracking of animals from birth to death or live export. I recall speaking to managers of one of our food processor factories in Taranaki, and he stated that if they came across a biosecurity threat, they would be instantly be able to identify not only the animal but where it came from, the animals that were associated with it that came from that same locality, and would enable them to very, very quickly isolate that biosecurity threat. And that not only protects all of the farms or the animals that live in proximity to that situation, but it also stops unnecessary wastage because of doubt where that biosecurity threat may have spread to. So it protects our economic base. It also, with this sort of technology that is proven, it gives that degree of confidence to our markets. And so they can continue to purchase our products knowing that we have a very strong system in place. The NATE scheme is a partnership that started before 2004. We understand that. We've heard that this evening, between industry and the Crown, recognising the public, industry and the private good of identifying and tracing animals. Industry across the board is highly supportive of this bill. NATE brings the New Zealand primary sector up to speed with most other agricultural producing nations that already have in place such schemes. It is effectively an insurance policy to support New Zealand's uniquely high livestock health status and biosecurity infrastructure, and can enable other attributes of livestock to be recorded to improve productivity and on-farm management. Mr. Speaker, this, I believe, is a tremendous step forward that is going to enable our primary sector to have great confidence as it forges ahead and continues to have a dominant place in the world market. Thank you.
The Honourable Ruth Dyson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Can I begin a pleasurable task of speaking in the third reading of the National Animal Identification